Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to review Tiziana Terenzi's Spirito Fiorentino. Check this out. It's the Extrait de Parfum in natural spray. This is just a sample. That's the brand Tiziana Terenzi. Now, I'm not sponsored by the brand. I was shopping for something else in my perfume counter and I bought something, and then my lovely sales associate lady, she kind of usually prepares a little bunch of samples for me, and she gifted me Tiziana Terenzi's Spirito Fiorentino, which in Italian means the Fiorentino spirit or the spirit of Florence, the Florentinian spirit, which, if we know anything about Florence, I mean, yes, it's about a lot of art and culture happen in Florence, but Florence nowadays is very famous for its leather. And the leather manufacturing, the bags, the small leather goods, gloves. There's a lot of little shops you can find everywhere that are selling gloves, but also perfumes. So Tiziana Terenzi. Now, as I spray it on, this is just a little sample. It's so funny that they put it in a big box like this. You might even think like, oh, it's a little miniature bottle. No. Inside is just a little spray vial. And the amount that we get, maybe it says on the vial. Weird. No, not strange. I can't see. Well, it's either 1.5 ml or 2 ml, I would say. Is this? Oh, there it is, 1.5 ml. Okay, it says it at the bottom. So it's a 1.5 ml. And it's made in Italy, not in France. And it does have a batch code. S173241 etched at the bottom there. It's not printed, it's just etched in there. There you go. You see it right there. For those of you who believe that those are limited edition numbers, they are not. Okay. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week, so come join the fun, come join the chats. Hello to my co-chattors. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Interesting. Medicinal. Very medicinal, and giving me Baccarat Rouge. So fascinating. So this one was created in 2019. So I guess it was launched after Baccarat Rouge. Smoky, leathery, fascinating. So what did they say? So Paolo Terenzi is the nose behind this one. Spirito Fiorentino is a floral woody musk fragrance for women and men, unisex, launched in 2019. Paolo Terenzi created it. Now let's get to the notes. Saffron, which is the classic note of Baccarat Rouge. Saffron, orange, jasmine, and lily of the valley in the top notes. In fact, it lists it here. Then we got mid notes, ilang ilang, magnolia, amber, and lily of the valley, and ambergris. Well, ambroxan, not natural ambergris. Base notes, oak moss, sandalwood, birchwood, Tuscan leather, musk, and amber. Now, if I go to the ingredient list, it does not list oak moss. Ingredient says alcohol, parfum, benzyl alcohol, limonene. That's all it lists. It has to, by law, list ambergris if there is pure ambergris in it. It has to list oak moss or tree moss if there were any, because they are allergens, and allergens have to be listed on the ingredient list in Europe. They're not listed here on the ingredient list, so that's why we can say that at least for European standards, there's the ingredients list. We do not have any oak moss, any natural oak moss in here, nor do we have tree moss, nor do we have ambergris. It is It almost, you know what? It's interesting because it smells of gasoline. And I like a gasoline smell. Not gonna lie, I like that Twin Peaks, the Red Room, the sycamore trees, and that gasoline oil. You know, for those of you who know the movie, the TV show, but also the movie Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, that row of sycamore trees and entering into the dark, into the Black Lodge through that gasoline black goo. Aisha says, I like a gasoline scent too. This is an interesting one. For an extrait de parfum, because they're telling us this is an extrait, it's quite tame, to be honest with you. Interesting. So, I'm going to read what the little perfume box says, because I have went to the Tiziana Terenzi website and I could not find this perfume on their website anywhere. So I don't know if this one is discontinued or not. But stay tuned because I found a place where you can get it, apparently. So they say the essence, I'm reading from Tiziana Terenzi's own packaging. The essence opens with a graceful bouquet of flowers, the purple lily, symbol of Florence, and jasmine emerge, embraced by the power of Italian saffron and the freshness of oranges. In this precious ampule, as red as passion. Well, if you buy the actual perfume, it comes in a red bottle. The sample comes in a transparent glass vial. In this precious ampoule, as red as passion, isn't that a coincidence that they made the bottle of this perfume red like Baccarat Rouge, like the Baccarat Rouge bottle? What a coincidence. We find the thrill of emotion that only the eternal beauty of Florence can give. Well, la-di-da. For all my Italian viewers out there, let's read the Italian version of the text as well. L'essenza si apre con un grazioso bouquet di fiori, in cui il giglio viola, simbolo di Firenze, e il gelsomino emergono circondati dalla forza dello zafferano italiano e dalla freschezza dell'arancia. In questa preziosa ampolla, rossa come la passione, si trova il brivido che soltanto l'eterna bellezza di Firenze è in grado di trasmettere. How cute. Sounds much better in Italian than in English. What do you guys think? So the perfume bottle is not squared off like Baccarat Rouge. It's rounded, like cylindrical in a way, right? So if, you know, here's a bad picture of it, but just to give you kind of an idea, this is kind of how the bottle looks like. So it's red and rounded, right? Fascinating. Now, I have also gathered some intel about the brand itself. So when you go to Tiziana Terenzi's website, I was kind of looking for like About Me page or just, you know, to find out more about this brand. And what I managed to find out on their website is this. The Tiziana Terenzi collection has always taken inspiration from travel, from emotions shared around a fire, and from life experience, all of which is contained in the collection. It represents that specific period in life when beauty entertains the soul and a moment becomes eternal. These universal feelings are transformed into liquid emotions that are captured in priceless bottles of perfume extract. The shape of the bottles was studied to be stylistically complementary, and careful attention was given to every minute detail, enabling the bottles to safeguard the special significance. The production is strictly done by hand, with patience and love. The process is guided by the slow passage of time and is absent of haste and stress, because quality deserves attention and beauty deserves admiration. I mean, la-di-da. I mean, it's a big text, you know. I was looking to find out like who's the owner of this brand, and it says on their website that the owner is Cereria Terenzi Evelino SRL, with their legal operative business being in Via dei Faggi, 101 47842 San Giovanni in Marignano. So it's in Italy. I don't mind this one. I actually prefer it to Baccarat Rouge. So for everybody in the reviews that are saying like, ah, this is a Baccarat Rouge dupe, it might have been inspired by Baccarat Rouge. It might have been inspired, you know, but that's okay. This one is not trying to copy it fully. This one, it's its own thing. I like this gasoline vibe. There's something gasoline-y, airy, synthetic, but titillating about it. I don't mind this one. Pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting anything, you guys, just to be very clear. And I'm pleasantly surprised. You see, sometimes it's really good to go into testing out certain niches and, you know, fragrance houses without expectations. And by that, I mean expectations in either direction, positive or negative. You just, with an open mind, open heart, just dive into it, you know? By the way, thumb up the video if you're enjoying it, you guys. It means the world to me. And it helps the channel out. The prices, like I said, I could not find this one on their website. Maybe it's on their website. They have a very weird, it's really difficult to find the perfumes on their website because they have different types of collections. I could not find a button to search a specific product. There was like no way for me to type in the name of a product. On their website, the navigation of their website is not very helpful to me as a potential customer. But here's the twist. I Googled then this perfume because I thought maybe if I Google the name of the perfume, it's gonna link me to their website directly to the page where they are selling the perfume. But no, when I put the perfume's name, Tiziana Terenzi, and Spirito Fiorentino into Google, it does not give me a link to the Tiziana Terenzi website, but instead it gives me a link to, guess what? Amazon, which is always a little bit shady. Why does that, you know, when you buying a perfume off Amazon, really for a niche, kind of iffy. But then I go to Amazon and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's available on Amazon and it is 50% off. Now, granted, I don't know what the original price was because I didn't find it on the Tiziana Terenzi website, but here on Amazon, it states that the price for 100 ml, so that's 3.4 fluid ounces, 3.4 ounces or 100 ml, was $325, but now it's 50% off. Now it's $161. So they're basically kind of selling this one at half off, right? The store that's selling it on Amazon, it's not sold directly by Amazon. I found somebody else. I'm not going to promote their name, whatever, doesn't matter. But I was kind of like, oh, okay, so $161 for 100 ml. That's under Chanel prices. You know, I always compare everything to my Chanel. The mass release Chanel's, not the Les Exclusives. So I thought at 50% off, $161 for 100 ml. If you love the perfume, that's kind of the going price for perfumes these days. They can be even more expensive. I know that Mugler Eau de Parfum, and this is an extrait de parfum. Okay, so an Eau de Parfum Mugler goes for $186 at the moment. 80 ml, 90 ml. Wait, do I have a perfume here somewhere? No. So 90 milliliter, not 100 ml, 90 ml of Alien goes for $186. And here you get 100 ml for $161. And it's a niche. And you can see that it's a niche by many ways. Like, for example, this little vial, you know, they didn't print, you know how like other brands, they print on the glass, like directly on the glass, they print the name of the perfume. Not here. This is a sticker, you guys. They actually put, it's a sticker. I feel it. There you go. You see? You can peel it off. So these are little things that show me that there's like more, it's more niche, you know, when they put a sticker on the vial instead of having the extra budget to print it. Like these are little things that show me, yeah, this is a small company. You know what I mean? which is always lovely to see, especially when a small company doesn't like overcharge you for the product. So Mahora says that they're €285 in Europe. This is a lovely chemical smell. I don't mind it at all. And I have the feeling, let me see. So I do get the jasmine. I do get the lily. I have the feeling there's some aldehydes in here as well, even though they're not mentioned. But it's the ambroxan mimicking the ambergris that is very particular. Ambergris has a lot of different synthetic counterparts. So you could kind of mimic ambergris in many different ways. There are a lot of different types of chemicals out there delivering the vibe of ambergris, and this particular one is kind of delicate. It's not your Dior ambroxan. It's not that gut-wrenching, gut-punching ambroxan that just suffocates you like Sauvage, okay? Which can also be good if tamed properly and if dosed properly, in my humble opinion. Mahora says some of the lines are limited because they use seasonal ingredients, allegedly, so the batches are quite small. That is very fascinating to know. Thank you for the intel. So this version of ambergris, whatever synthetic compound that they're using, it's kind of delicate in a nice way, and it's less aggressive than Baccarat Rouge. So it's not Baccarat Rouge, but it does have that saffron that we're used to also from Baccarat Rouge, right? There's no roses listed in here, though, but Ilang Ilang, Magnolia, Lily of the Valley. Now, Lily of the Valley, I think maybe that's what I'm smelling here. Lily of the Valley can give you a similar smell to an aldehyde accord, like fresh sheets hanging in the wind, and very breezy, very white but green and cold type of nuance in a perfume. And this one has that as well, which kind of translates into almost a metallic spray smell, like a silvery. It's a very silver type of smell to me. The ilang ilang. So, okay, I think we're not there yet. Maybe later on in the dry down, it's going to become a little bit more creamy. And the creamier it gets, the more of the ilang ilang we managed to sense up. But for now, the leather accord in here is what gives me that metal dust vibe, like a dusty metal vibe of like a suede leather accord. Birchwood is definitely there. I can smell that one. Sandalwood, no. This is not giving me that specific type of sandalwood sweetness that we're used to from certain sandalwood fragrances. It depends how you treat your sandalwood. I mean, just to stick with another one of the northern Italian perfume brands, Lorenzo Villoresi, I have one of his older batches of sandalwood. Lorenzo Villoresi's original Sandalo, which has been reformulated, but I still have the original Sandalo, which is now turned black. I mean, the liquid is freaking black. That one is dry. Like you spray it, you smell it, you're going to start coughing. It's like you've inhaled dust. It is fabulously fascinating, very difficult to wear, even though I love it to bits. And then you have some perfume houses, they deal with sandalwood in a very different way. They enhance the more, maybe in a way like tonic or creamy facet, sweet creamy facet of sandalwood. Samsara, for example, by Guerlain. Now, if you go to the older batches of Samsara delivers a very ilang ilang heavy sandalwood accord, which, albeit not sweet, we're not talking about a gourmand sweet perfume. It's not sweet by any means, but Samsara has a sandalwood that it's a creamy sandalwood, not a dry sandalwood that makes you like cough, like you're inhaling dust. But then you have Lorenzo Villoresi's Sandalo, which makes you kind of inhale dust when you breathe it. Then you have Chanel's Egoiste or Chanel's Bois des Îles. Those go into that direction, similar to Samsara, where the sandalwood has it's drenched in ilang ilang, and it becomes creamy. It becomes more wet in a way, more sticky. It's not as airy and dusty, but it rather compacts itself. It's almost like a resin, a sandalwood resin, if you may. Here we don't have a sandalwood resin. This is a sandalwood that's been drenched in suede leather, and it's kind of popping upwards like dust. It's lovely. Who thought that I, because I was, you know, it's drying down delicately, not pretentious by any means, you know. So they list musks. Who knows what musk molecule they're using here? I mean, you know, musks are a dime a dozen at this point. I don't know. You know, there are expensive synthetic musks out there, but there are also quite cheap ones. I wouldn't say that this perfume is like this kind of, you know, cheap niche. It's not giving me headache vibes like some fragrances when they're kind of starting to dry down slowly. They get fuzzy and messy. This one is endearing. It's comfortable. Not too comfortable, but comfortable. Mm. Okay, so when I warm it up and I pop the molecules to get closer, quicker to the dry down, I get the sandalwood. It's very lovely. Very, very, very soft and tame. And that metallic accord. Now, how do I put, okay, it's almost wet. How do I put this delicately on YouTube? Read between the lines. Just a hint of it has a certain type of wetness that can be associated to a certain protein that comes out of the human body, the male human body. Has a smidge of that in there. And that might be due also to the musk or birch, because birch sometimes can have that body odor. It's quite organic. Interesting, because I mean it is a synthetic perfume, but it also smells natural that way, and there's a smidge of body odor in it, which I don't mind. I mean, I've smelled perfumes like these. You know, this is a trend, or better said, it was a trend and a tendency right around the time when Baccarat Rouge became very popular. A lot of perfumes started working in that direction. A lot of perfumes were formulated in that direction. So there's nothing bad with that. I mean, if there's a perfume trend out there, obviously perfume houses want to partake in that trend. Some of them want to deliver their take on that trend, their version of the trend, you know. So everybody works in their own way. So it's okay to have a trend, you know. You might like it or not like it. And it's interesting to see how a niche house like this one, how they did their own version of it, maintaining more subtlety to, like a subtle nuance of this type of trend. That gasoline accord is nice. Is it a full bottle worthy? Probably not. It's quite a conceptual perfume for me. It's not one of those fragrances where I just feel at home wearing them. It doesn't make me feel super comfortable and just like I end up sniffing my arm all day, all night. It's a conceptual fragrance, very specific to a certain time period and a certain trend, and as such, it gives me pleasure to have experienced this particular niche, nuance, facet of the Baccarat Rouge trend. While it manages to maintain its own identity, it's its own thing, it's also very clearly also delivering its own version of the trend. And as such, it's great for my nose and my kind of olfactive memory. It's great to have smelled this so that I can kind of now internalize it and memorize it inside my own olfactive memory so that I know that this thing exists. And it's kind of nice to have that extra little nuance ticked off within the family, the Baccarat Rouge kind of trend family. It's kind of interesting to have that ticked off. But I like that gasoline smell though. Now you see, because I was gonna say, like, I don't see myself wanting to grab it and wear it. Hence why I don't want to buy a full bottle. But now I'm thinking, when colder days arrive and, it's like, autumn, September, like late September, October, November, when it gets rainy season, Halloween season, a little bit more like spooky vibes. This gasoline accord that I smell out in here, actually, that's something I crave sometimes, Birch, I think birch can also smell gasoline in a way. That's something I do crave on those special foggy, misty mornings or days where, the days have become quite shorter because now it's autumn and you're kind of feeling some type of way, Teapot says, yes, birch is chemically heavy. Yeah, birch can have that chemical smell, right? So it opens up, like I said, when we first sprayed it on, it's quite medicinal. It opens up medicinal. Then it goes kind of metallic and then metal dust and then gasoline. And, it goes through these very technical, mechanical almost phases while maintaining the jasmine, the lily of the valley, the ilang ilang. They're all kind of, those flowers are there supporting all of those weird industrial elements. So it's a very interesting combination of natural and synthetic, of soft organic and hard metal, and then in between runs this river of leather suede that kind of keeps pushing forward. So you're kind of in movement the whole time. Conceptually speaking, it's an interesting perfume, I mean, if you got the money for it, and like I said, now at the moment while I'm filming this video, it appears to be on Amazon for 50% off. Not worthy of a blind purchase, in my humble opinion, because it's still a lot of money, and to me, it smells quite conceptual. So you might not feel your oats wearing this one. This is more an idea of a perfume, I feel, rather than a fully fledged, fleshed out fragrance that you're going to want to wear all the time. You might, but if you have a little bit more of a developed palate and you might be seeking for something specific, you might get annoyed by this easily because it's very specific. So you need to have a very specific state of mind and mood to want to wear this. It's not your generic perfume that goes well for every mood. Some perfumes are good always because they have that aura about them that really, well, it sets the tone for any mood, really, and lucky perfumes, because those type of perfumes really go well in a lot of occasions. This one, very specific. But then again, that's what I'm thinking niche should be. It should have that specificity about it that you want to wear in just a particular instance, and then it's there looking at you from the shelf, and you know what it smells like, but then once in a year you take it out and you spritz it again, you know what I mean? So it's not like full bottle worthy. If you're that type of person that likes to play with perfumes like that, then this is perfectly full bottle worthy. But if you're the type of person who's like, yeah, I want to buy a perfume and I want it to work for me every day, this might be a little bit of a challenge in a way, even though it's quite soft. And I love sniffing it really close, like burying my nose into it, because then I get the gasoline vibe. And that vibe, I don't sniff it out from a distance. So this is the type of perfume that I kind of want to submerge my nose into it to get that dangerous accord in there. Why not? You know what? I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's a Baccarat Rouge-esque type of vibe, but then again, whatever. There's another billion dupes of Baccarat Rouge out there. This is by no means a bad one. This is its own thing. It manages to be its own thing while, let's just put it politely, homaging Mr. Kurjan's masterpiece. Yeah, I mean, masterpiece just in sales, FYI. We'll go, to each their own. But there you go. That's my review of this one. I would love to wear this one in the depths of a forest, trying to look for the entrance of the Black Lodge, surrounded by a bunch of sycamore trees. And underneath those sycamore trees is our entrance to the Black Lodge. And just like that, we were inside the Red Room. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thumb up the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel. Never give up on fragrant love. Bye.